Hey everyone! Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something wild. We're going to look at the hidden industrial process that takes a total fabrication and turns it into a viral story that, well, everyone thinks is true. It's a very specific technique called influence laundering.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever been scrolling your feed and seen a story just explode out of nowhere? You see it once, then twice, then it's everywhere. And you kind of wonder, wait, where did this even start? Well, I can tell you, it's not magic, and it is definitely not random.
There's a name for it, influence laundering, and it works a lot like money laundering. The whole point is to take dirty information, a lie, and clean it by running it through a series of steps that strip away its sketchy origins. By the time it hits the mainstream, it looks totally legitimate.
And this isn't just a couple of people getting lucky with a viral post. Oh no. This is a predictable, almost industrial-style four-stage pipeline, and today we are going to break it down step by step.
It all starts with placement. Then it moves to layering. After that, it undergoes a complete transformation, and finally, it achieves integration. Think of this as our roadmap for the next few minutes.
All right, let's get right into it. Stage 1, placement. This is where every single laundered lie begins its journey. And it doesn't start with a bang, it starts with a whisper.
The whole thing starts in what researchers call a low-visibility seed node. You can just think of it as a dark, anonymous corner of the internet. Now, the goal here is not to go viral. Not yet. It's just to plant the seed, to create a point of origin that can be conveniently discovered later on.
So what are we talking about here? We're talking about places like 4chan, anonymous Telegram channels, or maybe some really obscure niche subreddits. These places are the perfect incubators, right? They're totally anonymous and there's little to no moderation, which means someone can drop a lie and it can't be traced back to them.
So here's how it goes. An operator just drops a simple, fabricated post, something that sounds juicy like internal documents leaked today show a massive conspiracy. And then it just sits there. It's waiting. The trap is officially set. Okay, on to stage 2, layering. This is where that little seed of a lie gets its first coat of paint, its first layer of fake credibility.
So somebody stumbles upon that original post on, say, 4chan. They take a screenshot of it, and then they share it on a platform that's a little more mainstream, but still kind of niche, like a specific subreddit. And believe me, this first jump is absolutely crucial.
And here is the psychological genius of that move. It completely strips away the stigma of where it came from. All of a sudden, in our minds, the story is no longer from some weird, anonymous forum. Nope. It's now a juicy screenshot that's being passed around on Reddit. The story keeps all of its shock value, but sheds its sketchy past. And just like that, the lie's origin story has been completely rewritten. The first step of the laundering process is done. It now has a fake history and what looks like a real community talking about it.
This brings us to the real masterstroke of the whole operation, stage 3, transformation. This is where the evidence itself literally changes form, making the lie almost impossible to trace back to its source.
See, in this stage, the information isn't just getting reshared. It is being completely repackaged into a totally new format. This is the most critical step because it completely breaks the chain of evidence.
And you can see the journey right here. A TikToker finds that Reddit screenshot and makes a quick video reading it out loud. Then an Instagram reel might dramatize it with some scary music. Then a YouTube short breaks down the leak. Suddenly, that boring original text post is now a dynamic video.
And this has a really powerful two-pronged effect. First, that original post is now buried under layers and layers of new media, which makes it nearly impossible to find. And second, the lie now exists in all these different formats across all these platforms, creating tons of different ways for people to stumble upon it for the very first time.
And finally, we get to stage 4, integration. This is the endgame. This is where the fully laundered lie gets injected directly into the digital bloodstream and starts being accepted as just common knowledge.
That TikTok video, now completely disconnected from its shady origins, gets picked up by major influencers on big platforms like X. They react to it, they share it with their millions of followers, and they treat it like it's a legitimate news story.
Now, behind the scenes, a whole coordinated swarm of fake accounts gets to work. You've got your inflamers who jump in to start arguments and boost engagement. You've got legitimizers that create a fake sense of consensus. And then you have fact warblers who post confusing counterclaims just to muddy the waters and make the real truth impossible to find.
So just think about it for a second. By this point,
Is anyone asking where that original leak came from? Of course not. Why would they? The social proof is overwhelming. Big name accounts are talking about it, thousands of people are arguing in the comments, it feels real, so it must be real.
So, the big question is, why is this four-stage pipeline so unbelievably effective? It's not just about the technology. It's because it masterfully exploits a bug, a glitch, in our own cognitive wiring.
It literally weaponizes our brain's natural shortcuts. We are all hardwired to be vulnerable to social proof. That's our tendency to assume that if a whole lot of people are talking about something, it must be important or true. This process creates what's called a mimic social proof loop, basically a manufactured consensus that feels completely authentic to our brains.
And this threat is only getting more and more sophisticated. As one report I read put it, we've moved past the era of simple bots, we are now in the era of the synthetic entity, AI-driven personas that are nearly impossible to tell apart from real people.
But here's the thing. Now you know the playbook. You've seen the four-stage pipeline from start to finish. So the next time you see a story just explode out of thin air, you'll know exactly what questions to ask. The only question left is, what will you question next?